Tony D and Little Joan with a screenwriter's rant on Manodrome, starring Jesse Eisenberg and Adrian Brody. It's about incels. Smash like and subscribe. Thank you for smash liking and subscribing. Check out my books. Links in the description. Comedy Horror in South Jersey. It's the Pineys. Books 1 through 13. Available at Amazon.com. Don't forget, Kindle Unlimited is free. And he's not really an incel, but it's like one of these movies where they explore the culture of men as if we're an alien species and the person who wrote the movie has never met a man in his life. That they got the idea. Let's see. I'm going to write a movie about men. Should I meet any men? No. I'll just go on the internet and get a general idea from people on Reddit and women who hate men, and then I'll write the movie. Also, I'll see half of Fight Club. I mean, from acclaimed director John Trengrove. It's a once again a man-related fraternity of sorts, I guess, that then goes wrong. Jesse Eisenberg is weak, and then he turns to this dark group of men, and they make him strong, but there's a price, and he's very he goes all over the edge. I mean, you could pretty much write this movie based on what I just said, right? November 17th. This looks bad. So first act, Jesse Eisenberg loses his job. He's got a pregnant girlfriend. They both have dyed hair. And he is feeling put upon by the world. Everybody's against men. But Adrian Brody helps men. He runs something called the Manodrome, where you can pick your own family, and it's basically a cult for men, and they drink whiskey, and at first it's all very manly, and Jesse Eisenberg gets his self-esteem back. This is in Act 2. And then he starts working out again, gets in shape, and there's very positive things. And at first his girlfriend's like, I don't know about this, but if it makes you happy. But then it goes too far, right? It escalates, and it gets too aggressive. Eisenberg gets a brand to join the group, becomes cultish, and it starts to go too far. And then he gets into fights, and eventually, he kills his boss or someone like that. And then the Manodrome wants him to do other nefarious things, something like that. And it all ends with, a car chase. Here's his friend who initially brings him in, but then later warns him, oh no, I think I made a mistake with this place. It feels like a version of Fight Club, only worse. See, it's Eisenberg walking through life and scowling at everybody. Here's his green-haired girlfriend. I'm sure she's a lot of help. Yeah, I don't know. I am not very predisposed towards this movie. It looks like yet another angry screed against men. Oh, you men, you're so powerful, and you have all these things, and you could crush us, and you have your own clubs, but see, you go too far. Where are these clubs? Number one. Number two, do you live in reality? No. What am I saying? The people who think this way just don't live in reality. Literally every TV show and movie portrays men as idiots who can't pull it together. The women are saints that walk among us. The men are stupid, bumbling idiots who just want to drink beer and watch watch football, and you know, if you're gonna make a movie like this, I liked Fight Club. Fight Club was a good movie in my view, but Fight Club, it doesn't make the actual Fight Club bad. the part of Fight Club that goes too far is eventually they start really hurting each other, but really it's a metaphor for how men communicate, because as Jordan Peterson would say, there's always an implied threat of violence when two men are in a conflict, because they know they could eventually settle it by going outside and throwing down. Now, it normally doesn't come to that, but sometimes it does. And as men, we have kind of certain rules. So if you see two guys fighting, the instinct is, if it's evenly matched, you stay out of it and kind of monitor the situation until the fight's over. Where one guy capitulates, or one guy is clearly getting himself beat, and the other guy now is too mad, and you got to pull him off. Whoa, that's enough. You're going to kill him. And then after that, they often shake hands, and the situation is resolved. Sometimes. I shouldn't say often. I'll say sometimes. Sometimes the other guy calls the cops, and then it gets much, much worse. But this doesn't seem to have that spirit. Like, the Fight Club kind of had that spirit, because you saw guys get beat, and then they were okay with it. And they'd go to the hospital, and they'd get patched up, and then they'd be buddies afterwards. That was sort of the spirit of Fight Club, even though it goes too far by the end of the movie. This looks just like, oh gosh, there was a couple of movies like this. I think one was called Cuck, and then another movie, I can't think of the name. But it feels very much like a movie. Now, this may not be the fault of the book, and I assume there's a book involved. But it feels very much like a movie that's out to Polaroid men. Is that the word? Purloin men? Skewer men. And men culture. That it's so dark and evil. I don't know. It looks like it goes off the rails sometime in the third act. Eisenberg gets a gun, starts shooting people. At the end of the Fight Club movie, spoilers, Norton kind of does something noble. He destroys the credit card companies. And, he did it in a crazy way, but sort of noble at the end. It wasn't just about him. This seems to chart this character's downward spiral. And it looks mean and not very good in terms of the messaging in it. And I don't really buy Eisenberg in this role. I think he's trying to take a different role. He's a good actor. First off, the hair. Yeah, I don't know, man. He looks weird with that hair. You could argue that, like, the character has a dye job, but I don't know what he's going for. Is he going for that he's punk or that he's ginger? Not really sure. He's not super beefy. Kind of gets in shape. He definitely looks younger than his previous role, but I don't think it's the right role for him. Feels off for him. I know, he's kind of typecast as a neurotic guy, but he's really good in those roles. He's very good in those roles. So when you are very good in a particular role, I think actors they're kind of hurt when they try to go off that mark. When Bill Murray did his first serious movie, everybody kind of was upset. Like, Bill Murray's in it. It's a drama, right? No, but it's going to be funny. Like, people went into the movie with that mindset. And every time he did even the closest scene where he was kind of light, people were like, oh, here it is, the funny. And then, it was a drama. It wasn't meant to be funny. This is kind of feels sort of like that. It's like, I don't really buy him as an intense guy who's going to kill a bunch of people. I just don't. To me, an Eisenberg in this situation would be presented with the man cult, and be very skeptical. And not this broken guy. So I don't know. Maybe it's because he's played too many smart guys. I just don't buy him as being this broken. So now, is it a bad movie? Well, I like Adrian Brody in his role. They don't show much of it in the trailer. Mostly focuses on Jesse, but Adrian Brody as the cult leader, I'll say, he seems pretty good in this role. He's the right age. I've always liked Brody as an actor, so for him this kind of works. Yeah, I could see him in that role, but the movie itself overall feels just like an anti-man screed, but it's just my vibe from the trailer. I think it's going to end very darkly. Eisenberg goes to jail. Maybe, there's part of it where his girlfriend is like, well, do you still want to have this baby? And she's visibly pregnant, which is a little, oof, is she going to abort the baby by the end of the movie? That would be horrible. So, I don't know, man. I think they're going to a dark place with this movie. Not something I want to see. But it's called Manodrome, November 17th, if you want to see it. But maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. And that's it for me, Tony D. and Little Joan. Check us out on Odysee, Bitchute, and Rumble for our more bass takes. Speaking of checking us out, I will be at the Cumberland County Library tonight at 6 p.m. 6 p.m. For my talk on how to hunt the Jersey Devil. And this is in Bridgeton, New Jersey. Just want to be clear on the directions and the time. Bridgeton, New Jersey. And then tomorrow I'll be at the Bridgeton High School doing a talk in the afternoon. Hope to see you there. We'll see you in the next one.